What if your anxiety is not a breakdown, but a brutal awakening? I'm a doctor who proved it. For 5 years, that's how long I walked through my life like a zombie. On the outside, Dr. Anand, an anesthetist who's doing quite well in his work, but on the inside, a man drowning in anxiety so profound I could barely work on a daily basis without my hands shaking. So, we medical professions are trained to believe that we are different, that our knowledge immunizes us from against human fragility. But here's the truth: no one tells you that in medical school that burnout does not announce itself with dramatic collapse. It's a slow dimming of your light day after day until you forget what brightness ever felt like. So if you're watching this thinking, I'm functioning, but I'm not alive, this video is for you, because what I discovered in that darkness was not just my breaking point, it was my beginning. It all began with a patient terminally ill, multiple comorbids, a combative family clinging to hope like a life raft. Every pre-operative conversation felt like walking through an emotional minefield. The surgery itself, technically, not too bad, successful, but as I left the OR that day, something in me snapped. For the next 5 years, I became a master of disguise. The confident look on my face previously during cases, the reassuring colleague in the hospital, the hollow man who sat in his car for hours afterward, paralyzed by fear, and I couldn't name those symptoms. Imagine being trapped behind two-way glass, watching yourself go through the motions of a life that no longer feels like yours. That was my existence. So here's what my medical training failed to teach me. Chronic anxiety is not weakness, it's physiology. When your amygdala stays activated for years, it physically rewires our brain. The cortisol that once helped me power through medical school called early working experiences now eat away the hippocampus. The very system designed to save my life became my own prison. And I read studies, 63% of physicians experience functional impairment from burnout. Our mental health rates is double the general population, yet we keep pretending we are the exception being to human physiology. 2022, Sri Lanka, Vijaya Sri Mahabodhi, a tree grown from the original Bodhi tree where Buddha was awakened. And as I stood before these 2000 years old roots, something broke open in me. Not a dramatic awakening, but just a quiet whisper. You have been trying to outrun your humanity, but these roots, they grow deeper by standing still. We are taught healing means fixing, but what if it's the opposite? What if it's the courage to stop and let the ground hold you for once? When I finally met the Dalai Lama, His Holiness Dalai Lama, I didn't ask for profound questions. I just wept. Not elegant tears, but the ugly, like a child sobbing, of a person who had forgotten how to feel. And in that moment, I took my first real breath for years. Not the shallow breathing of survival, not the controlled respiration of stressed, but the full, unguarded breath of someone who had finally stopped running from himself. Because suffering in silence is not strength, it's biology betraying you. I was taught that burnout is a sign of weakness, that if I just work harder, sleep less, and push through, I'll overcome it. But here's what my medical training never told me. Chronic anxiety and burnout aren't failures of willpower. They are physiological rebellions. My body isn't breaking down, it's screaming for survival. When I finally read the research, I realized I was not failing medicine, but medicine had failed me by pretending doctors are immune to human biology. Our brain rewires itself for better or worse. Here's the brutal neuroscience of burnout. Amygdala. It hijacks chronic stress and keeps our fears centered in overdrive like an alarm that will not shut off. The same hormone, cortisol, that helps me to survive night shifts now simply eats away at my hippocampus, the very part of the brain that regulates memory and emotional control. And the more I repeated, I'm fine, the more my brain hardwires suffering into autopilot. 63% of physicians experience functional impairment from burnout. Our poor mental health rate is double compared to general population. And these are not just ordinary statistics, they are proof that the system is broken, not you. It's like running a car in the red zone for years, then blaming the engine when it seizes. Except your brain is not a machine, it's a living, rewiring organ begging for repair. I know I can't meditate my way out of a physiological crisis. This is not about mind over matter. When my nervous system is stuck in fight or flight, no amount of positive thinking will reboot it. That's why all the self-care advice fail me. You can't meditate your way out of a cortisol storm. But the good news is, if stress can rewire my brain for suffering, then safety can rewire it for healing. But first I have to stop pretending I am the exceptional to human biology. This is not a diagnosis, it's an invitation. What if your exhaustion is not laziness but your body's last-ditch effort to save you? Being in the presence of that Bodhi tree in Sri Lanka, I felt time differently. Wars had raged, dynasties had fallen, yet these roots held. And it hit me. My anxiety was not a problem to solve, it was a signal to heal. The tree didn't heal me, it showed me that what healing actually looks like. Standing still until your roots remember their depth. Later I learned why this worked. Theta wave surge, the sacred chanting by the monks around the ancient tree induced the same brain waves like 4 to 8 hertz as deep meditation, quieting the amygdala. The physical contact with Earth's energy around the area reduces cortisol. But in that moment, I just felt like coming home. How about the Dalai Lama experience, where I finally felt safe to fall apart before? As a doctor, I mastered the art of composure, but trauma isn't stored in the mind, it's lodged in the body. My hands were trembling, my breath was erratic, no amount of logic could release it. But when I met His Holiness, I didn't get wisdom, I got permission to sob like a child in front of a Nobel Peace Prize winner. And in that unraveling, I discovered tears are how the body exhales shape. The Dalai Lama didn't comfort me, but his silence did something better. It reflected back my humanity without judgment. Studies now show that crying resets the nervous system. Tears contain stress hormones, literally expressing or expelling cortisol. Sobbing triggers the vagus nerve, switching off fight or flight response. But what mattered was actually the silence. It was the safety to finally let go. The Bodhi tree taught me growth is not about pushing, it's about receiving. The Dalai Lama's experience showed me strength is not holding it together, it's falling apart without self-abandonment. I went seeking for awakening or enlightenment. But what I got was simpler, a nervous system that actually finally felt safe. From that safety, everything else, clarity, compassion, even joy, started to grow. These experiences didn't cure my burnout, they revealed its purpose to shatter the illusion that I was separated from my body, from others, and from life itself. Today, when my anxiety resurfaces, I don't ask, how do I fix this? I ask, where have I stopped listening? The answer is always in the silence that I once feared. What these 5 years of darkness taught me: 1. The most dangerous lie high achievers tell: I'm tired, but I'm fine. My body always knows the truth first. Those panic attacks could be your soul's last-ditch SOS. Healing begins when I stop asking, how do I fix this, and start asking, what is there here to teach me? The patient's family never knew that they actually saved my life. Their anger mirrored my own, the rage of clinging to control in a world that would not be controlled. Today, I'm actually grateful for every tremor, every sleepless night. They were the cracks in that they allow the lights to enter inside me. The world needs healed human beings, and that journey doesn't start with having all the answers, but with finally admitting I'm human.